Hello and welcome back. This is a work in progress update for my Emperor art journal. So as I was pulling prompts together, one of the big things that popped out for me was, what does authority look like to me? And how can I challenge the idea that authority's got to be loud, controlling, dominant? And I also wanted to play around with colors. So in this first spread, I'm using this jungle and gorilla environment as power and authority in community. Now, first, this metallic gorilla I absolutely love. I didn't realize he was in my collection until I spotted him and pulled him immediately. I love that this is a nod to the Emperor in the Rider-Waite Smith deck with his armor on under his red robe. For me, it communicates that strength, resilience, and protection that he has been, through the war, but, he's ready for battle, but not necessarily fighting now. I like gorillas as a symbol of Emperor energy. They are incredibly powerful. They don't seek conflict, but they don't avoid the responsibility when conflict arrives. So, I wouldn't say run up and go pet a silverback, but they're not naturally violent. They are fiercely protective. And that to me is what Emperor energy is all about. They protect their families, they maintain order within their troop, and they create safety through their presence. The way that I get to create that idea of creating stability through strength in service to their community instead of fear is by adding birds and butterflies back in. And as I look back on this playback, I may come back and tweak this page a little bit more, but I really wanted to bring in that gentleness, and especially with birds because they're so flighty. They're not quick to perch, and so I wanted to have some birds and butterflies just to reiterate that these gorillas can be, the silverback can be strong, protective, peaceful, and is all about service to the community. In the next spread, I am creating a forest scene. So as I was coming up with ideas, I thought of the mushrooms in the forest and the mycelial network. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, don't tell me. The mycelial network, which is that system of roots that's underground underneath everything. So you'll see me layer in a bunch of things here. I use my ink sprays and a whole bunch of stuff to just build some really lush green layers. I mean, this is like, it's giving me Pacific Northwest forest, Olympic forest vibes, hardcore for days, especially when that blue gets in there. It's almost like you can smell the trees and the moss and that really wet kind of forest. If you've ever been on a hike in the Northwest, you'll know what I mean. The images that I'm using on the left-hand side here come from a daily calendar from 2023, and it was really, that's the actual picture. It was a tree trunk with just some forest floor, so I decided to trim the trunk from the forest floor. I had another picture from the same calendar of ferns, and so I'm laying those over so that those will open up and open up a whole window so that you can see underneath. And I'll get there eventually, but what I do is I I cut some little lines and plant those little mushrooms on the left. And then on the back of both of those panels, I cover the back of them with a city map just to reinforce that mycelial network again, which is that hidden foundation that creates that visible order. The mycelial network is the thing that connects the forest and the whole forest floor, and it redistributes resources wherever they're needed. So it helps maintain the health of the ecosystem. And that's what I was thinking about through stability and structure through connection. So as I get these panels laid in, I'm realizing I need something else in the middle and I don't know what it is. And at first I try to draw in some tree roots, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to work. It's not going to come out how I want it to. I'm having a hard enough time drawing graffiti on the cover. I'm not going to be able to pull off drawing tree roots. So I happen to find, I'm thinking like, I need like a forest. This is reminding me of the Northwest, like, okay, the Northwest, Bigfoot, like, you know, what do I have? Do I have a Bigfoot? And I realize I do have a Bigfoot. I have this little zipper pouch that I bought at an airport, and I wish I could tell you who did the artwork. I have no idea, but I scan it. I put it on my scanner, print it out, and then I just cut out elements. And I think I love it because it gives that a little bit of a whimsical play to this whole scene. And even though my Bigfoot's tiny, I don't know, maybe he's giant and we're just in some mythical section of the woods that nobody knows about. Or maybe he's tiny, who knows? You'll see me come in here because I wanted to show what the little zipper bag actually looks like. It's awesome. I don't know where they sell them. Like I said, I bought mine at the SeaTac airport a couple years ago when I was visiting, but I really love this little Bigfoot. And so I get him and his supporting characters added in. And then I come back in with some reindeer moss that I've sprayed with my green shimmer spray. Now, I did want to talk about Bigfoot because I brought him in intentionally, not just because he's cute. When we think about Bigfoot, or when I think about Bigfoot, he's the guardian of this forest territory. He's an unseen keeper of the forest, and he doesn't dominate the wilderness. He belongs to it. So his authority comes from his relationship with the forest rather than his control of it. Here's the bag I was talking about. It's the cutest thing. I have it in like 2 sizes. I had to buy like almost every size they had. Highly recommend. Anyway, back to Bigfoot. So as I'm thinking about this and putting my notes together, Bigfoot also represents that space between wilderness and civilization. So he can represent the king who never built the castle, and he demonstrates his leadership through his stewardship rather than his ownership. Again, I think a really healthy representation of emperor energy, and something that I would love to see more of. As this video winds down, I just thought I'd come back in here and just reflect on both spreads and how in both cases with the gorilla in the jungle and the mushrooms and Bigfoot, how the emperor is not the one who sits the highest or has the castle. He's the one whose presence allows others to grow. And I think that's my big takeaway with these 2 spreads in different ways. And a lot more of the kind of emperor energy I like to see. So thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.